Before stone, before symbol, before the first priest carved the first tablet, there was sound, a vibration that preceded form, a name that shaped void into world. A word spoken once, echoing forever through the architecture of reality. In the oldest cosmologies, creation does not begin with matter. It begins with utterance. With a divine breath carrying a name too powerful to be written, too dangerous to be spoken, too fundamental to be forgotten. The Egyptians called it Heka, speech that bends the fabric of existence. The Persians knew it as mantra, the cosmic ordering force spoken into alignment. The Jewish mystics whispered of the ineffable name, hidden even from the highest angels, inscribed in fire near the throne. The Hermetic teachers taught that the Logos itself was not metaphor but mechanism, the principle by which mind becomes cosmos, thought becomes form, silence becomes world. This was not magic. It was technology, a science of vibration older than civilization, preserved in fragments across empires that rose and fell without understanding what they guarded. Every temple concealed it, every priesthood feared it, every tradition warned against its misuse. Not from superstition, but from knowledge of what happens when the architecture of reality is spoken incorrectly. The forbidden name was never destroyed. It was hidden in plain sound, woven into liturgy, buried in angelic hierarchies, encoded in cosmological maps that no longer made sense to those who inherited them. This is the doctrine of divine speech, the metaphysics of creation through sound, the lost technology by which worlds were called into being, and can be unmade by a single mispronounced syllable. In every corner of the ancient Near East, a single belief persisted. Names were not labels, they were forces. To know a being's true name was to hold power over its essence. To speak a divine name was to invoke the structure of reality itself. The distinction was absolute. Knowing a name meant understanding. Using a name meant commanding. The gap between the two was where priesthood, initiation, and cosmic danger converged. Jewish tradition preserved the most guarded name in history, the Tetragrammaton, 4 letters that spelled the unpronounceable name of God, spoken only once per year by the high priest in the Holy of Holies, in conditions of absolute purity. Outside that moment, the name remained hidden. Substitutes were used, Adonai, Elohim, Hashem. But the true name, the essential name, the name that held the cosmos in coherence, this was forbidden, not as punishment, as necessity. In the book of Enoch, the Watchers descend bearing forbidden knowledge. Among their gifts, the names of angels, the names of stars, the names that bind spirits and unlock celestial gates. Enoch himself is granted a vision of hidden names inscribed in the heavenly realms, each name corresponding to a function within the cosmic order. These were not decorative titles. They were operational codes, patterns of sound that interface directly with the structure of existence. The Persians understood mantra as speech that restored cosmic alignment, words spoken to invoke Asha, the principle of truth and order, against Druj, the lie that distorts reality. Egyptian priests wielded Heka, not spells but utterances of power, spoken formulas that shaped destiny, healed bodies, commanded elements. In both traditions, speech was causative. Words did not describe reality, they built it. Why should vocalized sound alter reality? Ancient metaphysics answered, because reality itself is structured like language. The cosmos is not material first and then named. It is named into being. Form follows frequency. Matter follows pattern. The universe is a resonance, and names are the frequencies that call specific structures into manifestation. To speak a true name is to vibrate reality at the exact pitch of a being's essence. The ancient doctrine begins here. Speech is not symbolic, it is structural. Every utterance sends vibration through air, through ether, through the unseen fabric that underlies form. The cosmos itself is a resonance field, a standing wave of frequencies, each frequency corresponding to a specific pattern of manifestation. Speech does not represent reality. It is reality articulated. In this metaphysics, every being, every element, every angel, every star possesses a hidden true name. Not a word assigned arbitrarily, but a vibrational signature, a pattern of sound that matches the essence of the thing itself. To know this name is to perceive the being's fundamental structure. To speak this name is to invoke that structure, to call it forth, to command its function within the cosmic order. The priesthoods of Egypt, Babylon, Persia, and Jerusalem were not performing theater. They were operating cosmic technology. Through precise pronunciation, exact intonation, ritualized breath control, they aligned their speech with the frequencies of celestial powers. A name spoken correctly opened gates. Spoken incorrectly, it distorted reality, summoning chaos, binding the wrong forces, rupturing the order they sought to maintain. The tradition distinguishes types of names. Hidden names, those kept secret to prevent misuse. Binding names, spoken to constrain rebellious spirits or chaotic forces. Unlocking names, utterances that open pathways between worlds, grant passage through celestial spheres, reveal hidden knowledge. Each name functions according to metaphysical law. Angels respond because their existence is structured by the name spoken. Stars align because the cosmos itself recognizes the pattern. Enochian texts describe watchers bound by specific names. Egyptian rituals invoke the names of gods to command natural forces, flood, wind, fire, harvest. Persian priests chant mantra to invoke Amesha Spentus, the divine emanations that govern cosmic order. Jewish mystics meditate on the letters of the divine name to ascend through heavenly palaces. In each case, the mechanism is identical. Reality responds to its own vibrational architecture when that architecture is voiced correctly. The ancient warnings were not moral. They were technical. A mispronounced divine name does not anger a deity. It disrupts coherence. The cosmos is a woven structure of frequencies. To introduce the wrong vibration is to create metaphysical dissonance, a tear in the fabric, a distortion that propagates through layers of reality. This is why the forbidden name remained hidden, not from jealousy, from precision. To speak it without absolute alignment was to invite collapse. Behind all traditions lies a singular doctrine. The cosmos is externalized mind. Thought precedes form. But between thought and form lies sound, the intermediary, the bridge, the mechanism. The divine mind thinks a pattern. That pattern becomes vibration. That vibration crystallizes into manifestation. Speech is the visible edge of this process. The forbidden name is the hidden root, the first vibration, the foundational frequency from which all others derive. Hermetic teaching reveals the deeper architecture. Names are not sounds imposed on objects. They are patterns already present within nous, the divine mind that contains all forms in potentiality. When a name is spoken, it does not create something new. It actualizes what already exists in the mind of the all. Speech becomes the bridge between the unmanifest and the manifest, between pure thought and embodied form. The act of speaking a name is the act of thinking it outward. The divine mind does not need sound to create, but within the realm of manifestation, sound becomes the vehicle. The logos is not merely word. It is the ordering principle, the pattern-making faculty of mind expressed through vibration. When the Hermetic texts declare, "In the beginning was the logos," they describe not a historical moment, but an ontological principle. Form arises from structured thought, and structured thought becomes audible through speech. Everything that exists vibrates. Matter is frequency made dense. Light is frequency made visible. Sound is frequency made audible. The cosmos is a hierarchy of octaves, each level of reality resonating at a different pitch. Divine names operate at the highest frequencies, patterns so fundamental they shape the lower octaves by resonance. To speak a true name is to introduce a frequency that reorganizes matter, aligns forces, commands the architecture of form itself. The ineffable name cannot be spoken because it represents the absolute, the frequency beyond all frequencies, the pattern that contains all patterns, the name that names itself. It is not hidden as punishment, but as necessity. To vocalize it would require a consciousness aligned perfectly with the totality of existence. Any deviation, any impurity, any misalignment would distort the utterance, and thereby distort reality at its foundation. The forbidden name exists in silence, because silence is the only container vast enough to hold it. The Hermetic revelation completes the doctrine. The universe is not made of things. It is made of relationships, patterns, frequencies. These patterns are linguistic in nature, not metaphorically, but ontologically. Reality itself is structured like language, because reality is the externalization of divine thought. Every name, every word, every utterance participates in this structure. To master divine speech is not to manipulate reality from outside. It is to align with the logos, to think in harmony with the mind that speaks the cosmos into being. The forbidden name is not a secret to be discovered. It is the pattern one becomes. The Hermetic texts teach that the logos is the principle by which the one becomes many. It is the divine word that differentiates, names, and orders the chaos of pure potential into structured cosmos. Speech in Hermetic doctrine is not communication, it is manifestation. The Creator speaks, and in speaking, divides light from darkness, above from below, essence from form. The power of divine names derives from their participation in this logos, each name a fragment of the original ordering utterance. Jewish mysticism preserves the doctrine most explicitly. The Tetragrammaton holds the cosmos in balance. Angels bear names that define their function: Metatron, Uriel, Michael, each name corresponding to a specific role within the celestial hierarchy. Enoch records the hidden names revealed by the Watchers, names that command spirits, open gates between worlds, invoke celestial powers. The tradition insists these are not arbitrary sounds. They are the vibrational signatures by which the divine mind organizes creation. To know a name is to perceive divine intention. To speak it is to participate in that intention. Persian cosmology frames the battle between Asha and Druj as a conflict of vibrations. Mantra is not prayer. It is speech that restores alignment with truth, that reinforces the structural integrity of the cosmos against the distortion of the lie. Zoroastrian priests chant specific formulas to invoke the Amesha Spentus, to strengthen the order that sustains existence. The principle is identical. Sound shapes reality, because reality is fundamentally ordered by pattern, and pattern is expressed through frequency. Egyptian priests understood Heka as a force woven into creation itself. The gods spoke the world into being. Ra's first utterance divided chaos into form. Priestly rituals replicated this act on smaller scales. Healing incantations, protective formulas, spells of binding and release. The power lay not in belief, but in precision, exact pronunciation, correct intonation, proper timing. Heka was technology. The name spoken correctly aligned forces. Spoken incorrectly, it failed or distorted. The metaphysics remained constant across centuries. Speech is causative because the cosmos itself is linguistic structure made audible. The deepest teaching reveals itself. The forbidden name is not a sequence of sounds to be discovered and uttered. It is a state of consciousness, a condition of perfect alignment with the Logos, a mode of being in which one's entire existence vibrates at the frequency of divine mind. The search for the correct pronunciation misses the point. The name cannot be spoken by a being whose consciousness distorts it. Only one who has become the pattern can utter the pattern without distortion. The technology of divine names provides a metaphysical blueprint. Reality is structured through relationship, pattern, and resonance. Coherence arises when all elements vibrate in harmony with the fundamental frequency, the Logos, the first utterance, the pattern that organizes chaos into cosmos. Incoherence arises when frequencies clash, when names are misused, when the linguistic structure of reality is violated. The priests who guarded the names were not hoarding power. They were preserving coherence. The progression is absolute. First, thought within divine mind, pure potentiality, unmanifest pattern. Second, sound, the vibration that externalizes thought, the frequency that bridges mind and matter. Third, form, the crystallization of vibration into perceivable structure. This is not metaphor. It is the ancient explanation for why reality exists at all. The cosmos is not matter that happens to make sound. The cosmos is sound that has densified into matter. Names are the audible edge of this process, the point where thought becomes vibration before vibration becomes form. The final implication: the universe is structured like language because it is language. Not human language, divine language, the logos, the pattern-making principle itself. Every being is a word spoken by the divine mind. Every force is a sentence in the ongoing utterance of existence. To speak a true name is not to impose order from outside. It is to participate in the grammar of reality, to align one's speech with the syntax of creation. The ineffable name remains hidden because it represents totality. To speak, it would require a consciousness that encompasses all frequencies, all patterns, all vibrations, simultaneously without distortion. Any lesser consciousness introduces limitation, and limitation distorts the name. The forbidden name exists in the silence beyond sound, not as absence, but as the infinite potential from which all sound arises. It is not pronounced. It pronounces all things. The forbidden name was never lost. It echoes in every liturgy that no longer understands itself. It hides in the silent pause between words. It vibrates beneath every sound ever spoken, the fundamental frequency from which all others derive. The ancient priesthoods knew. This was not a syllable to be guarded, but a pattern to be embodied. Not a word to be spoken, but a coherence to be lived. The forbidden name is the structure of reality itself, the logos that speaks the cosmos into being with every instant of existence. In Hermetic silence, in Enochian visions, in Persian chant, in Egyptian invocation, the same doctrine persists. Creation begins as thought. Thought becomes sound. Sound crystallizes into world. The name that underlies all names cannot be pronounced because it is the silence within which all pronunciation occurs. The watchers descended with fragments of this knowledge. The mystics glimpsed it in ascent visions. The priests encoded it in ritual formulas that survived longer than the empires that created them. But the technology remains. Reality responds to its own vibrational architecture when that architecture is spoken correctly. The forbidden name is not hidden from us. We are hidden from it until consciousness aligns perfectly with the pattern that speaks all things into being. The cosmos is a name spoken once, still resonating, still creating, still echoing through the architecture of everything that is.